Hello, Ben here, welcome to the channel, and this is going to be the first in a series of videos focusing on VHF marine radios and equipment, starting with the Retevis RM22. Lowest off port control, this is Kayak Challenger radio check, over.
A Kayak Challenger, lowest off, loud and clear.
Lowest off Kayak Challenger, yeah, loud and clear, also many thanks. Just for information, solo kayak, currently on the river between Alton Broad and Brook Yachts, over.
That's all, sir, thank you.
So the Retevis RM22 is a waterproof, buoyant VHF marine radio with all the channels that you might need. Comes with a drop-in desk charger, which has got a USB-C point on the back there, and then USB charging lead the other end, which you can plug into whatever you choose to charge that from. So the radio itself then, it's got a flexible rubber duck style antenna, which just simply screws on top there, and next to that you've got a port for a external speaker microphone or for external programming. To power the radio on then, you've just got a simple power button in the middle there, so press and hold and the radio will come on. Usual push to talk as you'd expect on the side there, and then a reasonable belt clip as well. Now this is a type approved VHF marine radio, and it has got the declaration of conformity within the instructions. So what that means is it has to have certain things to meet that type approval, first of which being a key to take you directly to channel 16, which is the international distress and calling channel. So it doesn't matter what channel we're on, just by a simple one press of the 16 key takes us back to that emergency calling channel. What that also does is, you can see it says 16 and C under that as well, so they call that calling channel as well, which is a little bit confusing because obviously 16 is your calling channel, but you can program your call channel, or a favourite channel if you like, we'll call it, into long press of that button as well. So if I long press that button, you can see it takes me to channel 37, which is our local yacht club channel. I've set it as channel 37. It comes with channel 9 as standard, but you can change it. So if we long press it again and we hold it until you get the dull tone and then the display starts flashing, you can then scroll down and then select the channel you want to be your new favourite channel, if you like. So I'll set the Port Authority channel for our local port, which is 14. So if I now press again, that is still says call, and 14 is there, so that's set. So let's try that, 16 and then long press back to 14. Next button then is our volume and squelch button. So if we press it once, it gives us the ability to change the volume, and then we're using these up and down arrows to increase and decrease the volume. If we press it again, we can change the squelch, which is the sensitivity of the radio. So open, you get the hiss, and then 1 or 2 is probably about where you want your squelch set. If you set it too high, then it'll decrease the sensitivity of the radio and you might not hear anything. So that's your volume and squelch button. What that also does, because these are multi-purpose buttons, so the long press of that button opens the squelch up. So if for long range communications, or if you're struggling to hear someone, you can press and hold, and it just opens that squelch up for the time that you're pressing it. So that's your second button there. Like I say, these buttons here in the middle, you're up and down, depending upon what you've got set. It'll either do the volume squelch, or in standard mode it just scrolls up and down through your channels there. Next button there is your scan or dual watch button. So you can set favourite channels to scan, and how we do that is the button here, the favourite button, with a little star next to it. You see if there's a star displayed on the screen, that channel is saved in the favourites. So channel 13 is not, channel 13 or channel 12 is, and we can change that. If we long press you can either add or remove channels from your scan list if you like. So I'm going to add channel 12 in, and you can see we've got a few channels that are saved in that scan list. So now if we press once, it'll scan through all the ones that I've got saved in my favourite list. It won't do all of them unless you set all of them, but just the ones that you've set with the favourite button there. Press it again, it comes out of the scan, and that favourite button, if you momentarily press it, what that does is it'll just scan through, or it'll move through the ones that you've got in the list as well. So you can see I've got 14, 16, 37, 73, 6, 12, 14, back to 16 again. So you can see it just cycles through the ones that we've set. So the next button down then is your weather channel button. So if we press it once, it will scroll through 1 to 10 channels of the American weather band, but we don't have that here in the UK, so it's not really used. The other function of that button for long press is it'll scroll through whether you're in international, USA or Canada channels, because the channels vary slightly from region to region. So I'm on international because I'm in Europe, and you can see it there. If I press and hold, it'll go to Canada. Press and hold again, it'll go to USA, and then press and hold again, back to international, which is where I need it on. Next key down then is your high and low button. So that changes between high and low power. If I press low, press it once, you get low power appears on the screen, so that means the radio output power is just 1 watt. And then if we press it again so that it's in high power and the low disappears, there is no high on the screen, it'll just disappear altogether. So if it doesn't say low, you're in high power basically, and that gives the radio 6 watts of output power, which is pretty good for a handheld. Most handheld VHFs are about sort of 4 or 5 watts, but the RM22 claims to do 6 watts of output. The other function there is it'll lock the keypad as well, so we can press and hold, and a little key appears on the screen. That way we can't inadvertently catch any of the buttons, and you have to press and hold it again to unlock the keys. The other last feature on here is on the same button as your scan button is you've got your dual watch or tri watch button. So if we press and hold or long press the scan button, it will go into tri watch or dual watch depending upon what you've set in the menu. So I've set this up for tri watch, so let's just turn it off a moment. And what tri watch will do is it will monitor channel 16 as a priority, and it'll also monitor whatever you've set as your favourite channel on that button there. So if I press and hold, obviously we'd set that for channel 14, hadn't we? So let's scroll up to a different channel altogether. So I'm going to choose channel, say 37, so that's the Yacht Club channel. So I'm now going to monitor 37, 14 and 16, but without doing the scan. So I'm going to press and hold the dual watch button, and although it says dual, it's actually gone into tri watch, because like I said, that's what I've got set up. So now the radio is listening to channel 37, but momentarily it will listen for any traffic on 14, and it will obviously prioritise anything that comes through on 16 as well. So it's listening to those 3 channels. If it was just on dual watch, it would only listen to whatever channel you've got it set on, and channel 16. So it won't listen to whatever the call channel is, unless of course that's what you've got it set on at the time. But yeah, dual watch will do 2 channels, and then tri watch obviously the 3. So to get to the set menu where we can change a few of the radio functions, we power the radio on whilst pressing the volume squelch button, and everything lights up on the display. And then release, you'll see we can change things, like if you want to turn the beep on or off, you can select on or off there. So press down for off, press up for on, and as we can scroll through the menu, you'll see you can change other features like the weather alert. We can switch that on or off. I'm going to switch that off because it's not used here in the UK. And scroll through again, you can change your scan type, so you can have priority scan on or off. Scan timer is the next one. Auto scan on or off. And then here's where we choose whether you want it to do dual watch or tri watch. So DT, so that's in tri watch at the minute with the T. If we change down, you can have it in dual watch. It'll say dual there, tri with the T and then the tri there, so we'll leave that in tri watch. You can change your squelch key action, you can change the backlight on or off, the LCD contrast can be changed there between high and low. You've got your power save mode, which you can have on or off, how your channel is displayed. You can switch on that float and flash on or off. I've got that switched on and we'll demonstrate that shortly. And your float and flash alarm there as well, so whether you have the audible sound coming out, and like I say, we'll demonstrate that in the next part of the video. You can have a low battery alarm as well, and there's a couple of other functions in there as well which are explained in the manual. So you could be forgiven for thinking that the Retevis RM22 does look incredibly similar to another well-known brand's Icom M37E, and yeah, they are pretty much identical looking at them. The only difference really on the front there, other than the badges and the name, is on the middle right hand button you'll notice the RM22 has that channel /WX for your weather, and the Icom M37, which is actually the Euro version, just says channel, so it just takes you back to the previous channel on that key. But the I think the USA version is actually identical button wise to the RM22. If we look at the batteries then, and we'll first of all remove the battery from the Icom model, you'll see there is a slight difference. The backplate comes off first and it reveals a 2350 milliamp hour battery, 3.6 volts. And if we take the battery off the Retevis, you'll see it's a 2200 milliamp hour battery, and it's the same voltage. It is a well, 3.7 volts on that one, so it's slightly different, but they are interchangeable, I've discovered, so you can swap them between radios. That the battery compartment is the same size. I say the Retevis version doesn't have a backplate, but the actual battery and the backplate is as one, whereas on the Icom they're separate. But yeah, I had a go at swapping them over, and they both seem to work. Not that you'd need to do that, but it was just interesting to see if they were identical, which they seem to be. There's a really nice finish to these radios as well. There's a lot of detail gone into the actual casing, as you can see. So you can see the Icom one has got float and flash written on it. You won't see that on the Retevis version, although it is buoyant and it does flash exactly the same, but that's under license to Icom, so I don't think it says it on any of the similar radios. But yeah, some really nice attention to detail gone in on the Retevis one that the Icom one lacks actually. So yes, certainly a nice looking and good feel to the radio as well. So while I was out on the kayak then, I've put it to the test to make sure it does actually float and flash, and it floats on its back as well, so you can't really notice it in this light, but it does float and flash and alarm as well when it's dropped into the water. So it has got the AquaQuake function, although it's not really called AquaQuake on the Retevis model, because that is one of the Icom branded features. So you can press and hold the scan and high and low buttons simultaneously, and that just helps to eject any water from the speaker itself. And just to prove that it does light up as well, there you go. We did it in slightly darker conditions, so you can see it illuminating on the front and on the back when it detects water. So there you go then, that's the Retevis RM22 waterproof floating VHF marine radio. I'll leave a link in the description down below as to where you can purchase this from. But in the meantime, if you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and stay tuned for more.